less. I'm already here. You don't have to turn the knife.
Oh, yeah.
What's that joke?
There you go. That's the full name. Ross Dress for Less. Okay, they could have just called it Ross. Yeah. But they were like, no, people need to know. People need to know what type of people shop here. I'm like, I'm already here. You don't have to turn the knife.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Tommy John Underwear. Get 20% off your first purchase at TommyJohn.com/Nash. Guys, what's up? Welcome back to the All Good Things podcast. Our guest today is hilarious. He is one of my favorite stand-ups. You probably seen it on Instagram. His special Hat Trick is on YouTube. You are one of the funniest fucking people. Fahim Anwar is here. I swore in the first.
Hey, that's all right.
I can't swear in the first minute.
I like that I just generate. Oh, because of the monetization stuff?
Yeah, just in the first minute.
Right,
I'll be swearing a lot, and you can too.
Okay.
Just in the first minute. He is one of the funniest people out there today. I just love him. I love everything about him. I love the way his mind works. I love your sketches, and I love your stand-up.
Thanks, Dave.
So thank you for being here.
Of course. This is the best intro I've ever gotten on any podcast.
Really?
Like, I feel we should end it because it's not going to top. Like my ego, I came here to get what I needed to get. We could just leave.
You're out there every day.
Yeah.
How often do you perform at the Comedy Store?
Maybe like 4 or 5 nights a week.
That's a lot.
And that's my baseline. And then I'll bounce around and do like the Improv or the Factory. But the store is my home.
Okay, so you grew up in Washington?
Yeah, Seattle. Like the burbs. Not Seattle proper, but the burbs.
What kind of kid were you?
Pretty good kid. Yeah. Like, you know, Dare probably. I was the target demo for Dare. Like I'm writing down all the things. Like, okay, cold shoulder. Yeah, I'll use that if I get asked for drugs. Broken record. Okay. Hey guys, just like all those techniques.
Yeah.
It really got me out of a pinch.
Yeah.
The thing is, I was never cool enough to be offered drugs.
Yeah.
So I had all this kung fu, judo drug knowledge.
Yeah.
That I never had to use.
Right.
Like my personality was enough. No one was ever like, hit this.
Right.
I kind of wish.
Right. And what about high school? How was that like?
That was good.
Did you have friends?
Yeah, I had friends and everything.
Good. Was there anybody in your class that like made it as an actor?
Al Pacino. No, I'm just kidding. I just thought it'd be funny just to have it in the hopper. Like I couldn't wait to say Al Pacino graduated from my acting school. So that gives you a taste of my prowess.
I wouldn't think you guys are the same age.
You know what's funny? It's like you get told who you look like, kind of, and then as you get older, the celebrities change. And that's how you know you're getting older. It's kind of weird, you know?
Yeah.
Like when I was young, I would get Zach Braff a lot.
Yep.
And then sometimes Seinfeld because I do stand-up. I would always be really annoying because we're very different comedically. Mm-hmm. But then some people would be like, you're like Seinfeld. Just because visually I'm holding a mic and and then I got Ray Romano at a certain stage. And then I've gotten Al Pacino a few times now. And so as the celebrities are changing, I'm like, I'm dying. I'm getting closer to dying.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I wonder if there is a big person who came out of there besides me. I'm just going to send them a huge poster signed. Be like, keep reaching for the stars, kids.
You haven't gone back to your high school?
I have.
Have you spoken or anything? Or I mean, you've made it. You've made it.
I guess.
Do you feel as if
I don't have that personality, though.
Does it annoy you when people go, Fahim, you're so funny. How come you're not huge? Does that annoy you?
No, because it's almost
because every single person. I remember I met Bobby Lee. I don't know. I met him like 10 years ago, and he was. And I hung out with him for a day, and it was really cool because I thought I still think he's great.
Yeah,
and I thought it was really cool.
He was one of the first guys to take me on the road. I love Bobby. He's
Bobby
like a
Lee.
mentor
10
to
years
me.
ago, I'm walking around L.A. and he goes, "My opener is Fahim Anwar, and he's funnier than me." And he's killing it. This motherfucker, and he was saying it in like a fun way.
This is fun for me to hear because
he was like, this motherfucker, he's funnier than me, man. He's showing me up at my own shows because he's so on it. And this was I don't know, it was like 10 years ago, maybe it was 7, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's when I started following you. I was like, oh, I gotta see who this guy is. And then I really got into like your videos.
Yeah.
Like not the I love the stand up too, but like those are the things that I would see, like you dancing and like that, and your sketches and
you know what's funny? You know, I mentioned San Antonio. That was the last time Bobby took me on the road with him.
Yeah.
So we were doing LOL Comedy Club in San Antonio.
Yeah.
It's like this big it's too big for its own good. It's like an airplane hangar. It's just so huge. And so I did the weekend with him. I guess I was doing really well that weekend, but he tells the story. Sometimes he'll bring me up in the Comedy Store because it's tag team. You know, there's no MC. Comics, you do your set, and then you bring up the next comic.
Yeah.
So sometimes I go on after Bobby. And then he'll tell this story sometimes. He's like, I used to take this guy on the road with me, and we were doing San Antonio. We were doing LOL. I was standing in the back of the room while he was just destroying, and some guy who works there just leans over to me and goes, how are you going to follow this?
Right.
Yeah. And that's when he stopped taking me on the road. But it's a rite of passage, you know?
Yeah. And now you headline.
Now I headline.
Yeah.
Now I worry about some other guy leaning over to me saying, like, how the f*** are you going to follow this?
Have you ever had to follow somebody that was like insane?
I mean, at the Comedy Store, yes.
Like who?
Let's see, Joey Diaz is a hard follow. Rick Ingram is a hard follow. Rogan is a hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just some people are, like Theo's a hard follow. There's just certain guys. And also it's like energy dependent as well. Like if you're kind of low key, you can be funny in different ways, but if you're a Tasmanian devil, it's hard to reset the room.
Yeah.
Because if you talk a little more grounded and they're just like,
you are very grounded on stage.
Yeah. I mean, can get crazy.
No, you get crazy, but your delivery is, you feel like you're talking to you. You feel like you're having a conversation with you, which is great.
Thanks.
But that must be tough to follow. Tough to reset the room.
Yeah, you know, and there's like lessons you learn at the Comedy Store, there's performance lessons and stuff. And then also when you're trying to figure out what you are as a performer, like what makes you you. I think you just get these big epiphanies every couple years, just doing something for long enough. Like I've been doing stand-up 20 years now, and I'm still learning. Like I don't have it all figured out.
Yeah.
But a big one for me is realizing like, oh, my material and the way I think, like that is the superpower, and I don't have to put a ton of sauce on it because I've done the work with the writing.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't have to like I don't have to add some extra sauce to it because the idea is novel enough.
Yeah.
And also I've been doing it a lot. I know what speed, I know what colors look good on me. So if I'm grounded and just delivering the idea, like Sebastian's good at this too. Sebastian comes out and he's like a ship moving at his own speed. No matter who went on before him or after, it's like hop on the Sebastian train or not.
Right.
Not that he isn't present or whatever, but it's kind of like every 15 minutes, this is your show.
Yeah.
So I think when you're younger, you're just kind of like, like you need something from the audience.
Have you ever followed him?
Sebastian? Yeah.
What's that like?
It's cool.
Yeah.
Like I'm at a point now where it's just very novel that like it's Grand Central Station, that comedy club, because we're all performing on the weekend, just picking up money, right, to like perform and obviously see fans and stuff. But like in the middle of the week, we're working on our stuff. So, you know, I'll bring Sebastian up and like Mark Maron will bring me up. And so, but we're just like shaking hands and it's like the Star Wars bar or something, the cantina. It's very cool. Like I've brought Chris Rock up.
Yeah.
He's seen me in the back. Like it's because, you know, I grew up watching, these are just mythical, magical people in a box. And now they're coworkers. And that's like,
And so you decided to put your stand-up special out on YouTube, right? And what was that? Did you try to sell it to Netflix? Did you try?
I didn't even try.
Oh, you didn't?
No. And this isn't me like just getting rejected everywhere and then pretending it was a power move. Like, like if you look at my emails, I'm like, I think it's really good. I think it'd be really good on the platform. I think, you know, I checked the demos. I really didn't send it out to anybody.
You did it.
Even when I was filming it and stuff, and I just knew it was destined for YouTube.
Yeah.
Which, because...
Well, it's a great premise. You shot all three rooms at the Comedy Store.
So the Comedy Store has 3 showrooms. There's the original room, which is my personal favorite. It's the medium-sized room. And then there's the main room, which is like the big room, kind of like Vegas, big stage. And then there's the belly room, which is small and intimate, maybe 80 seats in there. Yeah. So I do sets in all of them, and it follows me through the Comedy Store, like a regular night of operation. There's no lipstick on it. Yeah. It's not smoked out. There's no lasers. Because a lot of specials, I think, have gotten overly glossed. And I think audiences have just seen so many hyper-produced specials that it kind of feels artificial to a certain point. Because you could put your mailman on a stage like that, get a paid audience, smoke it out,
Yeah.
And it kind of looks like someone who's been doing it for, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There have been some wonky specials.
Yeah.
So I feel like, lean into kind of what my strength is. Like, I don't need all that production value. Like, if you've been doing it a long time, you can look at a comic on stage. It's almost like cutting a tree open and just seeing how many rings. It's hard for a 2-year comic to act like they are a 20-year comic on stage. It's just like, it's hard to fake the funk, you know? So all I had to do is kind of just capture it. I didn't have to overthink it or overproduce it.
And Quentin Tarantino was there the night.
That was bonkers.
The night you filmed, just randomly. Because in the special, there's some cool shots of you talking to Quentin Tarantino with like Annie Lederman or something like that. And what was that like? He's a stand-up fan.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
does he go there a lot?
He's streaky. Like, he hadn't for a long time, but he used to come when he was telling us in his 20s and stuff. Like, he would see Kinnison closing out the main room. He just has a deep knowledge of stand-up and comedy, and he's a real fan. So I just finished doing the original room,
and you're taping.
And then I'm rounding the corner, and then Tarantino's there with a drink, and he saw my set, you know, so he's like, I want to talk. You could hear it in the special. He goes, I want to talk to the cool guy.
Yeah? To you?
Yeah. And then we're talking. It was the coolest shit ever. Because in my mind, I was already happy with what we captured at the Comedy Store. I go, okay, this is great.
Right.
And then Tarantino, for fucking reason, I go, okay, this has been blessed. This is
meant
awesome.
to be.
Yeah, I'm playing with house money at this point.
Right.
So that was just really cool.
I want to go over just some of the things that made me laugh in the special.
Oh, nice.
These are things that I wrote down that I just thought were so f***ing funny.
But part of the reason I did YouTube is because I valued accessibility over everything else. Like, because like you said, I'm the guy no one really knows about. Bob, like, this is 10 years ago, and that's a long time to be under the radar and stuff. So,
but you're only 38, right?
Yeah, come on, but like, that's a little older.
That not for a stand-up.
I guess so.
Right? Like, it could all...
I'm not like panicking or whatever, but I'm just sort of like, you see me have a meltdown, an existential crisis. I'm only 38. You ever do that? Like, I tried this as a bit one time where sometimes you forget how old you are just because you don't say your age a lot.
Right.
Unless if you're 12, you're like, I'm this many. You say it like once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But when you get older, you don't really say your age that much.
No, I try not to.
Especially in this town.
I try not to. I try to forget my age all the time.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm gonna be 50 this year.
You don't look it, man. You look great. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
So I'm driving, and I'm trying to get a cheaper gym membership. So, you know, I've heard people work at YMCA. I'm living in K-Town at the time, I think. So I call up the YMCA, and I'm just like inquiring about. I go, yeah, gym membership, and like, how much is it? And she's like, okay. And like, how old are you? And I go, I think I might have been like 37 at the time. I go, 37? And I just heard it ricochet around my car. And it like came back into my ear holes. It's like I heard it from a different perspective before. And she's telling me about the gym and everything, but I can't process information anymore because like I'm not in this dimension.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like still driving.
Yeah.
And I'm just like I forgot my 20s. Like I forgot a whole decade of my life, you know? So I'm recounting. I'm like, yeah. Okay. The lockers. Okay, and like a towel, you get a towel. Okay, you've been very helpful.
I've totally been there.
Yeah.
At the age of 37.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happens is you go, you're just so old. You're like, all right, I'm still here.
Yeah. What can you do?
But yeah, that's a big existential thing. Like your late 30s, I felt like the same way. Like, I'm not in my 20s anymore. Like, what am I doing? I'm really getting up there.
Sure. But there's pros with it as well. You know,
like
it's
what?
not all. I think I was a lot more anxious in my 20s. Like where I am now, just comedically, just artistically, I'm a made man. You like the way you say, like, okay, people say you should be bigger and all that stuff. Like, that's nice to hear and all that.
I say that because the people who are huge, they all love you so much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I know about you.
Thanks.
You know what I mean? Like, you're so well respected and like that. I don't know.
No, that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
That almost means more to me than like being on a huge show or whatever. I honestly love the validation of my peers. Like, because I love that. I really love stand up. I love the craft. I love everyone who does stand up. So to have like no enemies really in stand-up. I mean, maybe I do, but like I have more
Right.
fans than not from like guys like Bobby or Bill Burr. So that means a lot to me because I really love stand-up. So just to know that I'm there in that place artistically, and then also just financially I'm fine. Because I worked at Boeing for a while. I was an aerospace engineer.
Really?
Yeah. So leaving that, and then my parents never wanted me to do stand-up to begin with.
They didn't?
Yeah, it's like I was doing heroin. I'm like going to do an open mic, and I'm like, you don't understand me. I'm still getting good grades in engineering school. Leave me alone.
What did they
I have jokes I have to tell.
What did they say?
God put me on this earth.
What did they say when you said I want to be a stand-up?
They were just very concerned.
Your parents are Afghani?
Afghanistan. Yeah.
Are they from Afghanistan? Or are they born here?
They're from Afghanistan.
They're from Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're legit.
They are.
Like if you put a knife into a bag and you're like, that's Afghan. that's pure. That's pure uncut Afghan.
That's their biggest export.
Yeah, that's right. Opium, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it good? Is it that good over there?
I should find. I don't know. Probably if they're burning the fields. if the government's like, yo, this too.
Right.
We got to burn this. Yeah.
Have you ever been there?
No.
No. Do you want to go?
I would like to at some point because
Yes,
it's just
it's gonna be fun.
fascinating to me to see a place that I would be.
My fiance is Lebanese,
Okay.
and she was born there, and I'm so excited to go
Oh, I heard it's great.
because she just said it's just like so insane and so
Don't they call it
fun.
like the Paris of something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
pretty
excited. Okay. So.
Oh yeah. So I just had a lot
Sorry,
of
I was thinking about
angst
my
and
fiance.
No, and then there's like a lot of unknown things
Yeah.
that kind of make you angsty in your 20s. Like, will I be financially secure?
Right.
Will I have enough of my roots into this art form where it's a career and not just maybe a hobby? Or, you know, I had these desires where I aimed for the bullseye or somewhere close to it, but you don't know.
Yeah.
I think that's just a lot that just comes with being in your 20s. That's part of it
Yeah.
because you don't know.
And what did they say when you wanted to do stand up?
They were cool. They were always cool with me doing the arts type stuff when it was attached to school. Like it was some side thing. Like drama was fine.
Right.
Dancing at an assembly, dancing like Michael Jackson is fine. But then once it became known that like, okay, here's what happened. Here's when they started to tweak like, okay, we're worried, is when I graduated high school. So I'm 18. And then that summer, I just kept driving to the Comedy Underground in Seattle.
Yeah.
And then Giggles as well, the comedy club. So I just kept on going a lot. Then they were kind of concerned.
To perform or watch?
Yeah, to perform.
To
The
perform.
first time was to watch.
Yeah.
And then, I just kept driving to these comedy clubs and getting up. And then school started, and I kept on doing both. So once they knew that I kind of wanted to do this, I would come home from the comedy club. This is back when you could smoke in the comedy club. I would smell like smoke. Like my hair would smell like smoke. I would take a shower the next day. It would just smell like a comedy club.
You try to hide it.
Well, I couldn't tell. I wouldn't try to hide it. Just I didn't know I smelled like smoke.
Right.
My mom would be in her pajamas because she couldn't go to bed until I came home. She's very overprotective, you know?
Yeah.
So she's in her like nightgown, and then she'd be sitting in the office chair, you know, and then I'd finally come home. She'd be like, your father's worried about you. And my dad could never talk to me directly about it. I'd always, like my mom was a conduit between, so everything my dad wanted to say, my mom would say for him.
Right.
Unless it was like the 3 months he would blow up and be like, what is this comedy bullshit? Like we love each other. It's all like,
Sure.
And also,
Yeah, it's tough with it. It's tough with a male.
I get it.
of
It's
that
okay.
age.
Yeah.
They're the worst. That generation is the worst.
And then it's also, you know, South Asian. It's a different, it's not a, let's talk, Tyler. What I feel, that comedy's bullshit. And I get it for what it is. I know it's rooted in love. So,
Sure.
I'm not like, that hurt me. You need to apologize, Dad. When I was 18 and you said comedy's bullshit, I carry that.
Yeah.
Like my dad would understand that shit.
Yes.
I forgive him. You know?
Course,
Yeah,
of
yeah.
course.
So they weren't into it. And then, so it was like I was doing drugs or something. Be like, my mom would be like, is comedy worth throwing your life away?
What do they say now?
They're cool now. My dad just recently kind of came around because I had this writing job over the pandemic. And
What'd you write on?
United States of Al on CBS.
What is that? Who is the
It was
star?
this Chuck Lorre show.
Chuck Lorre's big.
Yeah.
That's like Big Bang
Big
Theory.
Bang Theory, Two and a Half Men.
Two and a Half Men.
He's so many shows.
Sure.
Kaminsky Method.
Who was the star?
Adir Khan. From I think Rules of Engagement. And then who else? Hank from Breaking Bad.
And did you like writing or no?
It was cool.
I had a writing job once. I hated it.
I didn't mind it, and also it was during a pandemic, so there was nothing going on.
Were you at your house?
It was Zoom for the first season.
Oh,
and
well, that's
then,
why you liked it.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything else, and it was Zoom.
You had to be in the room for 18 hours. That's different, right?
Yeah. Then so second season it was kind of like that, but it was fine. I was able to juggle both. I would do writing, and then I would do stand up at night. But that's a lot of energy. I was burning the candle.
Yeah.
I'm glad I did it. I laid down some track as a writer.
Yeah.
If I want to sell something.
Yeah, that's true.
People are more willing. I have the pedigree now. Like,
yes.
He was a writer for a Chuck Lorre show.
That's a big thing in television too, is like if you want to sell a show, they want to know that you have some experience writing, or else if you go in with the Fahim Anwar show, they'll give you a writer.
Right.
They'll make sure that there's somebody there that's done it before. So that's good that you have that.
This town is all about shorthands. So just the fact that I have my name on some scripts already puts me, it elevates me than as opposed to me just being, hey, I'm a funny stand-up.
Yeah.
Like that may be true, but this whole town's about mitigating risk.
Yeah.
Just say, well, he had his name on a script, so you can't fire me. Like, it should have worked.
Yeah. I heard a great story like that the other day. It was like, I think it was Tarantino. He was on Tom Segura's podcast, and he was saying Quentin Tarantino was trying to sell a movie, and they were like they really wanted like Brad Pitt instead of Harvey Keitel or something like that, and he was like, Quentin Tarantino says, do you really think that this is gonna bring you money at the box office? It's a small part or whatever, and he said no. He said, it's just if it blows up in my face, I can say I had Brad Pitt.
Exactly.
Yeah. He's like, I don't think it'll bring us any money.
That's a microcosm for the whole way this town runs, which is, if you're running a business, people like to feel safe, and I get it. But that's almost like, I think, kind of why I'm in the position that I am and why I went to YouTube. Because on paper, I don't really make sense. Like, my name's Fahim Anwar. I'm Afghan-American. Who the fuck is my demo?
Yeah.
Other than just like...
But there's big... There's big comics that...
there's like two. There's Aziz
Russell
and Kumail.
Yeah. Well, what's Russell Peters?
Oh, Russell. But again, Russell was a guy that took someone leaking his set and then it kind of taking off on the internet.
Oh, what happened? Someone just posted
he had some taping from Canada, like kind of a special taping, and then it got pirated a bunch. And that's how everyone was sending it to everyone. And then he was mad at first. But that's kind of what he was, because, in the infancy of piracy, you're like, hey, fucker, no. But that really
back
blew
then,
him up.
I could see that. Yeah. That's crazy. Oh, wait a minute.
Please, I would love for people to pirate my shit.
Right.
I'm pirating it myself. That's why I'm putting it on YouTube. I'm like, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let me go over some of the things that I just loved. God damn. You guys should watch this special. It's so good.
Yeah, it's on my YouTube.
Okay, Middle Eastern meth addict. Okay.
Wait, what is it? Oh, the meth addict?
You said that?
Oh, with the parents. Yeah. I
think the Afghani meth addict.
It goes like, white people are too honest.
Yeah.
Like white families are too honest. Because like Middle Eastern, South Asian, they like to keep up appearances.
Right.
No matter how fucked up things are going, they like conceal it. Like white families are too honest. They'll be like, Travis is addicted to meth.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I'm just checking the mail, but that sounds terrible, Cheryl. I'm sorry. And I go, Middle East family would never do that. They would spin it. They'd be like, Abdul cleans the house constantly. Like, oh, where'd your TV go? Abdul started his own business. Already he sell our TV for us. He sell our microwave. He's top salesman.
Taliban with hand sanitizer.
Oh, yeah. Because that happened, the Taliban took back over.
Right.
They were doing a press conference.
Yeah.
And it was kind of during COVID. So they had all these microphones and shit, and there's hand sanitizer on the table. And for as ominous as the Taliban are, and you hear these horror stories, just them still being COVID safe is very funny to me. It takes the wind out of the sails.
You said you were saving money in the pandemic because you didn't have to go out.
Oh, yeah. It was great. Because all the dates were like, I guess you can come to my place. I guess we can get like a bottle of wine, like we can hang out and just watch Hulu. Because before you have to go to a sushi place and like I want to go dancing. Yeah, okay. Yeah. And just like a tabulate by the end of the night, it's like $1,000.
How often do you write?
I'm good at just sort of living life and getting an idea and then jotting it down as I live life, just capturing enough words for the idea. So I don't sit down and like.
You don't?
Yeah.
What?
But I mean, I am, but I'm on the go. So if something happens when I'm walking to my car after this, I'll just take my phone out and I'll jot down. I'll write. But I'm not like.
Oh, that's so funny because I've never seen somebody with so many premises and so many jokes. Oh. Like you have so many.
I'm writing, but short form, kind of like a stenographer. So enough words to capture.
What would
the
you
idea.
write if you thought of?
I'll try to give you an example.
If you thought of Middle Eastern, if you thought they keep up appearances, did you just write down they keep up appearances?
Yeah.
Is that all you write?
Keep up appearances, and then as I'm marinating on the idea, maybe I'll think about where did your TV go, and like,
right,
just yeah.
You don't write that on stage.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll have the kernel of the idea, because I have this other series on my YouTube that I started doing that people seem to really like. I didn't think they'd like it that much, but it's just me working on material. So it's called Fahim Works on Stuff.
Yeah. And
I put it out every week, and it's like a 7-minute video of just me going up there with like what you say, these premises, kernels, and you'll hear the written part. And then when the crowd's laughing, it's kind of like playtime now.
Yeah.
You're playing with house money. It's like getting the star in Mario Kart.
Right.
So anything and it sparks my imagination, and then I'll say more things while they're laughing,
right,
and then it might be funnier, and those organic, spontaneous things eventually go into the bit. So some of it's written, and then some of it is kind of improv from what happens.
I saw it, a set that you did on YouTube, and it was only shot with one camera, and it was so fucking funny. But it was shot on the shittiest camera. Yeah. It was a set at the Improv. Maybe it was called B-Sides.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And did you think that was one of your best?
What? What do you mean?
Like just one of your best sets ever? I thought it was. I was dying.
Thanks, man. You know what it was? I was doing the Irvine Improv, and they don't have the best camera rig. It should have been better quality. So, but I got the.
It didn't matter. And on YouTube that works. When something is low quality, it doesn't matter, because if it's funny, it's funny. Sure. In some ways, and sometimes you're like, oh wow, I'm getting to see something.
This is true, and the audio is good enough.
Yeah, the audio is good.
With stand-up, audio's key.
Yeah,
video. People will be pretty forgiving with video.
Yeah, if
the audio is pretty good. So the audio was good, and I think that was kind of in that moment. This is pre-COVID. I had this hour that like my first one was for CISO back in the day. It's on YouTube now. Comedy Central like licensed it, so it's on their YouTube. But I was due to do another special. I was ready to do one, and so I was doing the traditional route. I would go to HBO. I'd go to these places, and I had this like some of the stuff that you heard on that B-sides.
Yeah,
they were just kind of like, I don't know. When they don't see it, they don't see it, and like that's just what it is. So. And then I got tired of some of those jokes. So then my hour had evolved.
Yeah.
Because it had been 2-3 years or something, and I got bored of those jokes. So like I just wanted a home for them. So I put them on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's why it's that B-sides is kind of like the first half of my hour I would have done 4 years ago or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like a lot of those jokes, but I just stopped doing them.
Really good. And so you get tired of them.
I get bored. That may be one of my biggest. It was probably like my biggest downfall early on, which is now turned into my greatest strength.
Yeah.
So
do you get tired? I used to do stand up, and I would not be able to go to bed.
Oh, because you're just like, Well, that's why there was always that diner session afterwards. You do a show, and then all your buddies, you meet at a diner.
You do that?
Not anymore. I think there's an era for that. When you're a younger comic in your 20s. Yeah. The diner is such a big part of the comedian lifestyle. Everyone just kind of decompresses, keeps up with each other at the diner. We would go to Swingers afterwards, or like Mel's, Dupar's, by the Grove.
Yeah.
But then everyone gets older. They get married and and like there's less diner sessions now.
Okay, this was so funny. A girl that you is just friends on a dating app. I matched with a girl, and you said, "Can you take me to LAX?"
Just here for friends. I don't know, like why. That's like me going on LinkedIn and how'd it go? Oh yeah, it's like me trying to go on LinkedIn to
Yeah.
and then just here for friends. I'm like, can you take me to LAX? We matched.
And then you talk about going to clubs a lot.
Yeah.
And what's your take on clubs? Do you like going to clubs or you don't?
No. And I love that I'm at an age now where no one is asking me to go to clubs. I think some people naturally...
But also you dance a lot. So when you said that,
I'm a conundrum, dude. I'm an enigma. It makes no sense. I'm a good dancer.
You love dance.
I love dance.
Yeah.
But I love private dance. Or I love performance dance.
Yeah.
I never want to go to a nightclub to dance.
It's so fun though.
Like who do you go with?
I mean, like I'm 50 years old. A lot of my friends are younger, obviously, but because I do YouTube, and it's so fun. Like I was Friday night. We went out, had a couple shots. We were dancing. I love it. It's and then also it's a great exercise.
Sure. Oh,
so you burn like a ton of calories, and you just have fun.
You know, there's a razor's edge when it comes to dancing at a club. You don't want to dance so much that all your pores are open, and now you're just sweaty guy.
Right. That's
you have to rein it in. Yeah, you just have pit stains and shit, because then your returns kind of diminish when you're a sweaty guy. Because you can be the best dancer.
You
but
mean
if you're,
like trying to take someone home?
Sure. Yeah. Because I think that's like the goal, trying to hit it off with someone younger at a club.
Right.
Maybe that's why I didn't like it, because you have these friends, you have a nice crew, you go out. It's about the dance. It's about the camaraderie.
Yes.
When you're younger, you're with your crew, but everyone's there to kind of meet someone as well.
Right.
It's not like I just danced with my boys and we had a great time and you high five back to the Nissan Sentra. That's why fights start, because guys tried to at the nightclub and it didn't happen.
Yep.
And they're just wearing button downs and they're just ready to fight some other guys who didn't at the club either.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was there with my fiance, so it was fun.
Yeah, it's all just positive and great.
Okay. Ross is a weird store. What if we would combine Macy's and the DMV?
Yeah, the guy pitching it.
Yeah.
Because who came up with it? Like, what if we combine
Ross
Macy's and the DMV? It does have that vibe.
Today's podcast is brought to you by Tommy John Underwear. Yes, my God, guys, Valentine's Day, it's coming. And I'm letting you know that Valentine's Day is February 14th and it's coming, because for me, I always forget that Valentine's Day is coming. It happens fast and you don't want to be left out without a gift. And what better gift to get than some comfy, cozy Tommy John underwear? Guys, this is the best underwear out there. It feels so good. I have a bunch of pair sitting up there. I wear them all the time, and they are really fantastic, and your loved one will love them too, whether a guy or a girl or whatever. Think about getting them some Tommy John underwear. They're really fantastic, because right now Tommy John is offering a great deal. Let me tell you more about this deal. When you and your favorite partner are wearing Tommy John, you're that much more comfortable, so you can do everything better. From Tommy John's incredibly soft, breathable underwear to playful Valentine's Day pajamas and limited editions, 98% of men and women love Valentine's gifts from Tommy John. Of course they do. Guys, I gave a pair of Tommy John underwear to Joe. Let's not call it a Valentine's Day gift, because he's not my Okay, we can say he's my Valentine. That's fine. But I gave a pair to Joe and he absolutely loved it. It really is the best underwear out there. That's why Tommy John doesn't have customers. They have fanatics with over 20 million pairs sold, and it's easy to see why. And guys, there's no risk, because every gift is backed by Tommy John's best pair you'll ever wear, or it's free guarantee. And right now, guys, get 20% off your first purchase at TommyJohn.com/Nash right now for Valentine's Day. Hurry to TommyJohn.com/Nash for 20% off. That's TommyJohn.com/Nash. See site for details. Okay, back to the podcast. And then you said, Ross dress for less. I'm already here. You don't have to turn the knife.
Oh, yeah.
What's that joke?
Like, I go, that's the full name. Ross dress for less. I go, they could have just called it Ross. Yeah. But they were like, no, people need to know. People need to know what type of people shop here. I'm like, I'm already here. You don't have to turn the knife. And then I'm like, there's a clothing store for bigger women called Lane Bryant.
Yeah.
It's just called Lane Bryant. It's not called Lane Bryant.
Right.
Dress for more.
Right. And then their best joke, which was...
I mean, I can't wait to hear which one this one is.
It's too much. Here's a joke. You talk about somebody who's paralyzed and how their Their sneakers are
I think
always
that's
right.
Bobby's favorite joke too.
Who is?
Bobby. Bobby loves that one. Where I'm like, the silver lining of being paralyzed is that your Jordans always look fresh. Like, damn, dog. Every time I see you, I got the cleanest J. How you keep them so fresh? And then I do the act out. I'm just like, my feet never touch the ground. That's what's up. And then I keep going. I'm like,
I know.
There's also the added bonus. They'd be like, hey, do you have these in a size 9? You go, no, we only have them in 13. You could be like, yeah, that's cool. I'm just slipping them on. Kind of like a necktie at this point.
Can I tell you something? I've noticed that before, and to hear you say it, I was like, "Oh my god, that's so good, so f***ing good." You did Rogan twice, three times.
Yeah, I've done them in all the different studios.
Okay, walk me through it. I'm a huge Rogan fan.
Yeah, who isn't?
I mean, I think that I get mad when people don't like him because I think what he did was so good for like the people you talk about at the club who fight and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, knuckleheads.
Sure.
Right? A lot of guys are knuckleheads.
Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of testosterone.
Right.
I grew up in Boston. All my friends were like this. I was sort of the, you know, I was the one Jewish kid. And, you know, I didn't like to fight, but all my friends liked to fight. So then I'd be thrown into fights and I'd be like, oh, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Guys, what are we doing?
Yeah.
I was that guy, you know? And so I think that what I loved about him and what I love about him is he really puts himself out there as a guy who's tough, but is showing these fucking knuckleheads to be like, you can be thoughtful and a musclehead too.
Yeah.
You know, just because you like to lift weights doesn't mean you shouldn't be thoughtful. Doesn't mean you shouldn't care about people and that. So that's why I love him.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the content's great. Obviously all the people he has on is interesting, but what's it like to go and do Rogan?
It's great. It's, you know, media's changing so much. So, I mean, doing that moves the needle for me and did move the needle for me way more than doing a late night, you know?
It did.
That used to be, yeah.
I love to hear that.
I've done 3 late nights already.
Wait till this podcast comes out. No, I'm kidding.
I'm doing Tonight Show as well, like next week.
You're doing the Tonight Show?
Yeah. Which I'm...
In New York?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So it's cool. It's neat, but I'm doing it just kind of because it's neat, you know? I'm not doing it... Also, I'm doing it to bring my parents out. For real. I swear to God. Like, because I didn't even try to do this night show or anything because I had already done 3 late nights and I know what it is. It's fun, but it doesn't move the needle a ton. But then I was doing Ryan Sickler's podcast, The Honeydew, where we talk about more emotional stuff.
Yeah.
And then we talked about just how my parents didn't really... You know, they don't love me doing stand-up early on and all, you know?
Right.
And then I think the only time they saw me do stand-up was like when I got booed at the Apollo Theater in front of like 4,000 people.
What?
I was like 18. Yeah. Very early. And so I was fine after that. You know, I'm almost glad that happened so early on in my career because it just showed me like, oh, this is kind of like what I'm meant to do because I just dusted it off. And I'm like, okay, when's the next show? Whereas that would have broken
a lot of
so
people.
many people. Yeah. That's like a nightmare thing, just to get booed by 4,000 people in a giant theater. But I was like, okay, what can I learn from this? You know?
What made you go on the Apollo at 18?
I was in Seattle, and they had this thing called Amateur Night on Tour. So the Apollo was going through the country and just putting on like a show in different cities. And so Seattle was one of the stops. And I'd been doing stand-up maybe a year, like a couple. But I was okay, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I could still write a joke and stuff. And I actually got in under my own merit. Like, they liked me. The producers liked me. But then I think I opened wrong. I was talking about, like, being Afghan, and it was kind of closer to 9/11 and shit. Maybe throw that in at the end, or maybe not use it at all.
That's a big thing in stand-up, right? What you open with.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it's like... There are things you just kind of know doing
So
it.
maybe going out and opening with being Afghani right after 9/11, that's going to set the audience off.
Huh, you think the day after 9/11 mentioning, you know?
It's the day after they're having a show.
They go, the show must go on. People need this. If we don't have the Apollo one day after 9/11, terrorists have won. If we don't have the show between Tower 1 and Tower 2, I love Louis' joke where he talks about how soon... Like, you could tell what type of person you are, like, by how soon you started jerking off after 9/11.
Yeah.
He goes, for me, it was between Tower 1 and Tower 2. So on The Honeydew, I'm just sort of recounting how that was like not a great experience and all that, especially for my parents. And I never had them come out to a show. And even though I've done all these things, and I go in my mind, I always wanted to do like a really great show, just as sort of a touchstone, just a nice moment that, hey, all your fears, you don't have to worry, things turned out okay. You know? And then I was talking about this fantasy of doing the Tonight Show, and he was like, yeah, you should do it. And I guess again, like me saying I'm 38, I just never heard it again. I go, I should be proactive. So after that podcast, it's not like I couldn't do it. I just didn't do the actions to like do it. So I put together a 6-minute set, sent it to the booker, and then he's like, this is great. Normally there's this whole back and forth, like, okay, I like this joke, I don't like this joke. But Michael Cox at Tonight Show was just like, this is fantastic.
Great.
And then we were just waiting on a date, and then we got one, so I'm going to bring my parents out. So I'm doing this for them.
Right.
I mean, it's neat for me, but I'm doing it for them.
And doing it for you, too. That's important. You know, I went and saw like a healer once, and when I was doing stand-up, and the healer said that to me. They're like, have your parents seen you do stand-up? And I said, no. And they go, he goes, oh, that's really bad. He goes, there's no way that you're ever going to be feel good about it until they see it. And so I had my dad come out and see me. Yeah. So I think it's good. I think it's good for you. I can't put it into words, but there's something about like completing. I think if you'll feel completed.
Like a storyline or something.
In some ways.
Yeah. It just felt unfinished to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So I just had it in my mind. I'm like, I want to wear a suit. I want to get I bought a nice suit. I want to bring my parents out. And like they know a lot of the shit I do in this industry is just so foreign. It's hard to get your parents to understand certain milestones. You know what I mean? Right. Like even doing Joe Rogan is like it's huge, but it's hard to wrap.
Are they on the internet?
Yeah, I mean less so. But like the Tonight Show for immigrant parents who came from Afghanistan, like they know what the Tonight Show is even in Afghanistan. Yeah. So it's just such an institution. Yep. That I like that I have a hook they can put their brains on. Right, and they can tell their friends. Yeah. So that's really cool. Neat. Okay, so back to Rogan. Yeah. Okay, so go ahead. Yeah, it was great. It was great to do it. And like, he's so gracious. He's so giving as well with all the other, he's a very pay it forward type guy, especially with stand-ups. And he's it's almost like a life hack. The fact that we get to do this podcast is kind of bonkers. Because of the scientists and intellectuals and stuff that he has on. Yeah. And then it's just, hey, I tell jokes. You know what I mean? Like, why am I here? But it's because he's a stand-up. Right. And he's opening up his comedy club in Austin. And just when you do that podcast, you almost kind of become a playable character in the stand-up universe. Because Rogan, it's like the Avengers. You have Rogan, who's like the son, and then you have like everyone who's an offshoot of that. You have Bert, you have Tom, you have Ari, you have Theo, you have Santino. Yeah. And then once you know, like I'm in there now because like you see a face enough and kind of in that crew. It's like me. If I like a band or an actor and they're associated with other actors, you want to know. It's like Pokemon. You want to collect them all. Or right. I want to know the crew. I want to know the scene. Yeah. Yeah. I had the same thing with YouTube. I was doing. I was at the Improv doing stand-up like 5 years ago, and this YouTuber came in, and he was in the audience, and I walked off stage, and he was like, "Oh, do you want to come do YouTube with me?" And so I did it, and I took like a total career turn, and then I got into this group of YouTubers where it was like suddenly, I don't know, in like a month I had fans, and so I think it's a little similar. Yeah. Yeah. It is. Is it David? Yeah. He hit me up during the pandemic. He was nice enough. He sent me a voice note. What did he say? Just he liked my comedy or whatever. And he did? Yeah. Oh, David's great. But then when I hit him back, he didn't respond. He didn't? Yeah. I'm just like putting out that. Yeah. I'm sure he's busy. But what's interesting is I'm so out of it. Yeah. That like I've heard the name, but I'm just like you have a direct experience with him, so that's how you know. Yeah. I'm aged out of it a little bit. Like I don't know as much. So I'm in San Diego, and then my cousin is talking about David Dobrik or something, and I go, yeah. Oh, I think he like sent me a voice note, and then she's like, like she almost dropped everything. She's like, no, he didn't. I go, yeah, and I pull it up, and then like I play it, and then she's like, oh my God, it was crazy. That's really funny. Yeah, so it was neat to kind of like, yeah,
Yeah, you'd love David. David's really funny.
He's a really cool guy.
He's actually really funny too. I mean, not like stand-up funny, but he's funny. Okay, let me see what else I want to talk to you about. God damn. So you did Rogan.
Yeah.
3
so then
times.
You get
and then do you get like? Did you just get like a million? You must get a million DMs or a million texts the next day, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like the focal point. You know what's crazy? I think when I was promoting this special, I did Rogan.
Yep.
And so I was in Austin for a few days, and then I had to fly to London to do some like TV taping thing. So from Austin, I go to London. It was a nice hotel they put us up in. So this guy in like tails opens up the door and he's like, "Huh, I heard you on Rogan."
Really?
So that was kind of a f***ing mind. Yeah.
So funny how small the world is, isn't it?
Yes.
It's insane.
That like it was a thing I did yesterday or the day before, and then this British guy,
Butler.
like, I heard you. I heard you on Rogan.
I heard you on Rogan, sir.
Yes. I'm learning Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in case patrons get unruly.
Oh my God. We were supposed to have Matt Rife here today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but he
Yeah,
canceled.
he's killing it.
Can I ask you some of the questions I was going to ask him?
Please, just let me do
Did
a few
you fuck
sets.
Kate Beckinsale?
I wish. when she was dating a bunch of comics, I was like, who books Kate Beckinsale?
Wait, what'd you say?
Because she was dating a few comics.
She was.
At a time. And I was like, who books Kate Beckinsale? I want to get on that show. I have a tight 3.
So pretty.
Yeah, it's insane.
I saw her once.
Just as pretty in person.
Gorgeous and tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was she wearing leather?
She might have been. Today's podcast is brought to you by Babbel. Oh my gosh, yes. One of the most exciting things about the new year is that you have no idea what adventures are in store for you. From new travel experiences to new jobs or picking up new skills, there's no better way to prepare for 2023 than by learning a new language with Babbel. That's right, guys. Babbel is the language learning app that's sold more than 10 million subscriptions thanks to Babbel's addictively fun and easy bite-sized language lessons. You can feel confident no matter where the new year takes you. Listen, guys, I've checked out this app. It is fantastic. As you know, I've told you, I'm working on my Spanish. I'm learning a little bit. Irma, my housekeeper, speaks Spanish. I speak English. And every day when we order lunch, not every day, she's only here twice a week, but those 2 days, we always have trouble connecting with each other. And that's why I'm working on the Babbel app so I can get Irma's lunch order right. She actually likes the chicken panini. And the whole time I'd been getting her the goddess wrap, which is, it's almost like an insult to her. I've been ordering the goddess wrap, which is a wrap. It's like a spinach tortilla. And then Irma, she finally said to me one day, I want the chicken panini. And I was like, oh, okay. So now Irma's getting her lunch right thanks to Babbel. It's really great. With Babbel, you only need 10 minutes to complete a lesson so you can start having real life conversations in a new language in as little as 3 weeks. Other language learning apps use AI for their lesson plans, but Babbel lessons were created by over 150 language experts and voiced by real native speakers, not computers. There are so many ways to learn with Babbel. In addition to lessons, you can access podcasts, games, videos, stories, and even live classes. Plus, it comes with a 20-day money-back guarantee. Start your new language learning journey today with Babbel. Right now, for up to 55%, off your subscription when you go to babbel.com/Nash. That's babbel.com/Nash for up to 55% off your subscription. Babbel, language for a life. Okay, back to the podcast.
Hold on, which one was it though?
This one's so funny.
Oh, was it the Ready For Me Boys? Or no?
No, this is 72 virgins and they're all guys. Or it's like
oh yeah. Because the thing is, like if you blow yourself up, you get like 72 virgins. Like, which is like great if you're straight, but like, what if you're not? Like, do they switch it up? Like if they run out of terrace, they have to be a little more woke, and they like let
right.
So there's gonna be like 72 hot guys up there. Yeah, they'll have 6 packs. Yeah.
That's terror stuff is so funny.
I like it too.
It's so
because
funny.
It's such a serious thing, but when you can, especially my background as well, like
right,
it's fun to just be.
It's
a comedy club.
It's such a good release too for people, like for white people, because for when you do it, it's like, Oh, okay.
It's so fucking silly.
It is silly. It's so funny.
And I'm not pro Taliban or whatever. It's just like,
of course.
Yes.
Is Lance Cantstopolis, is he Afghani?
No one knows what he is, honestly, because he takes questions from the audience, and sometimes someone will say, "Where are you from?" And that's one he doesn't answer.
Fahim did this thing like 6 years ago where it was called Lance.
Yeah.
Cantstopolis.
Well, I would go on stage at the comp. I might bring him back.
You might bring him back?
Yeah.
And you
so I have a mullet and like a wife beater, and then I dance to like dance music for the first minute.
Right.
And then he just takes questions from the audience. He's like, "Anybody have any questions for me? Just like feel free to shut it out." And it's all Q&A for 15 minutes. And it's great.
It's all improvised.
It's all, And that's what's fun about it, though, is because they know it's not prepared.
Do you remember the riff you did about the Terminator?
No, how does it work? What was the Terminator riff?
You did this riff about. It's like Lance Cantstopolis. First of all, the fact that you call him Lance Cantstopolis is like maybe my favorite thing out of any. If I had to think about all the things you've done in life, you tell this to your parents after the Tonight Show. Lance Cantstopolis is so fucking funny because it's like it's so dumb.
Yeah, like
Cant C-A-N-T S-T-O one word S-T-O-P Opolis.
I like that you pick up on that.
So
some people
good.
just think it's like some Greek name, but
I didn't even think of that.
It can't stop a list. He can't stop.
There's a really funny. You just did this riff where you're like, "This guy wants to step to me," and then you're like, "But I'll turn into the Terminator. I'll turn into T-1000." And then
chasing the guy.
But the way you dance, not the way you run. You're like. He's like, and then I go into the truck.
Oh yeah. I punch
and I punch down.
The hood. Like I'm saying all the things I'm going to do to this guy.
Yeah, but you're just recounting the scene from Terminator.
I go, and then I punch the hood of the car, and he's driving, and he sees the hand, and then I'm like turning the wheel, and then he crashes the car, but then I land.
Yeah, and I land. And when you get like a riff like that on stage, that's got to be the best.
I live for that.
The best feeling, because that's all improvised.
You're in it,
and they're like, "What?"
That element of they're like that. It's almost like you're just so in it, and it's like catching a wave.
Yeah,
it's like catching a comedy and creative wave, and you're just sort of surfing it to fruition.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're, I don't know. You're in the passenger seat a little bit because the idea is so good or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
You're just along for the ride.
Well, that's interesting. You said that because I heard Bob Dylan say that once about he was being interviewed on 60 Minutes, and they were like, "Well, how did you write?" And it blows in the wind, and he's like, "I didn't write it." He's like, "It came to me." He's like, "I can't do it anymore."
Yeah.
The only thing better than I think catching a stand-up wave like that is, maybe it's not better or worse, but listening to somebody work out a song, like an artist. Have you ever heard Michael Jackson work out "Wanna Be Starting Something"?
Oh,
the demos of that.
Oh, like the click tracks and stuff, and him just like doing the music.
Yeah, like him just going like he's singing "Wanna Be Starting Something," but he doesn't have the lyrics yet.
Oh yeah.
Like that's the coolest
form.
Yeah. You ever see the Kanye doc where Kanye's nobody? It's like a Jay-Z doc.
Wait, it's a Jay-Z doc?
It's a Jay-Z doc, but Kanye is just a producer at this point. And he's basically saying like, he's like, "I'm going to get on this album." They're like, "Who are you?" He's like, "I'm Kanye West. I'm a producer." He's like, I'm going to get on Jay-Z's album. I'm going to have the best tracks on Jay-Z's album. And they're like, okay. And then Jay-Z walks in and he plays it, and he plays, I'm not sure what song it was, but it's one of Jay-Z's biggest songs. And you're like,
is it Big Pimpin' or no?
I'm not sure what it was, but it's a song that you would know, everybody knows, and you're like, "Oh, like this is the moment." And Jay-Z hasn't said a word. He hasn't rapped yet. He just has the track. So they capture that moment, and you're like,
well, I loved that documentary that he put out. Is it Genius or whatever on Netflix?
Oh yeah. It's so good.
Really cool to watch. I think it's very rare that someone, I mean, it'll happen more so with like the younger generation coming up, but for someone Kanye's age to have that much of his life documented through his artistic journey as well, from like when he was nobody to where he is now, it was so fascinating because we've never had that much footage on someone on that journey like this.
Yeah.
And it was just really inspiring as another artist. I think it's inspiring to anybody, but for me, what was like the most inspiring was overall just seeing how many people thought like he was a nobody.
Yeah.
Like what you believe to be is the sure thing. Every artist you love, no one wanted that to happen.
Yes.
And this was just reinforcing that. That moment where he comes in, he has College Dropout. That's his first one, right?
Yep.
He comes into the office and he's playing it for these ladies and they just want him to leave.
Yeah.
And he's just, but they can't see it. It's almost like the violin player playing some beautiful track in the subway. Just people aren't ready. They can't see it.
Yeah.
Like no one's going to see it before you see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just very cool to see someone like Kanye just have to fight tooth and nail every step of the way. Even him making the music video for Through the Wire, he had to pull in favors at MTV. He had to be creative with the way the video. And then even he's giving them all these tracks to Def Jam, Rockefeller, whatever, and they won't sign him as an artist.
Right.
And he's just giving them gold, and they still, and like it almost had to be a foregone conclusion for them to be like, you're now looking at the latest member of the Rockefeller crew. But how long did it take? You know?
Yeah. I love that. And to know that he went through that makes someone like you or me
exactly.
go.
So who are you? And just
right.
know that that's for everybody.
Yes, it's for everybody.
It's for everybody. You're no
So well
different. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of Kanye going forward?
Musically, I love.
My daughter, there's two people that my daughter loves. She's 13. Tyler, the creator, and Kanye. And if we're being honest, Kanye's probably more her favorite, but she likes to say Tyler because no one knows who Tyler. Less people know who Tyler is, so it's cooler to say you love Tyler. And not to take anything away from Tyler, the creator. He's fucking unreal. We went to his concert. It was the best show I ever saw. And I saw Kanye live. I saw Kanye, and then I saw Tyler maybe like a month later. Tyler blew him out of the water.
Oh wow!
You want to talk about artistry? This guy, he's unbelievable. I didn't even know he could dance. I didn't even.
Was he wearing the wig or what's the new?
No, he had on like I think he had on like a baseball hat.
Oh, okay.
It's very bare bones.
Because I saw him during Igor. So
you did?
Where he had the suit. Yeah, I was at the Bumbershoot Festival because they do stand up and they do music.
Yeah, I remember.
So I'm able to see all the shows because I'm on the. So it's a very cool way to see all the music acts.
That's great.
So he was wearing the suit and had the blonde wig and was doing Earthquake is one of my favorites.
Earthquake, great. Yeah. This was just him doing a 2-hour concert by himself. No one. In fact, the opener was this girl, Callie Uchis.
Oh, she's great too.
Yeah. And so she goes out and she performs, she does a song, and then he does a song where she's on the track, but she doesn't come out. He just wanted it to be him. And which I thought was...
She's in a broom closet singing. He's like, look, you can go before me, but I don't want to be on the stage with you because like people just want to see me. But there's a broom closet you can sing in. The acoustics are pretty good. Or there's a sound check for the broom closet, so like come 2 hours early.
It seemed like a pointed choice.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Right? Like she's there. She could easily come out and do the hit song, but it was just him. It was interesting.
I mean, that's cool.
Right.
But what is that conversation? That's what it's almost like, I mean, I did a little video on it because I thought, a little dumb sketch.
Right.
When Kanye Donda came out, right?
Yep.
He has all these features on there.
Right.
But on the track listing, it's not, because
there's no list people?
Yeah, because normally in tracks, it'll say featuring, blah, blah, blah. I think he just liked the aesthetic of the title, which is great if you're Kanye. But I'm just thinking like, you're some R&B upstart. And you're just one like I was just like like a lot of tracks they have the parentheses and it says feet and then like I don't know my name could go like after that's like because people know who you are, Kanye. He's like it's just like cleaner if like that's not there,
That's what they do in the influencer world.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's very big. Like when you would make like Instagram videos, there was a lot of big creators that they wouldn't tag you. Because they don't want it to
draft off.
They just want it clean. They just want it to say, when your mom hits you with a flip flop,
That's almost the new version of you are now looking at the newest member of the Instagram crew. He put it's just him with an @ chain. I'm taggable now.
Yeah. So wait, what were we saying? Oh, so Tyler and
Kanye.
So my daughter she really loves Kanye, and it's. My ex-wife won't let her, doesn't want him in the house anymore. Can't play Kanye at all. And it's just tough. It's just it just sucks that I'm Jewish, and it's just a bummer because he's probably my favorite artist.
Yeah, musically,
you
can't argue with it.
Are people just kind of what's the temperature out there? Are people still playing Kanye? Do you know?
I think so. Look, if people are still playing R. Kelly, music is this special place, where it's harder for people to separate.
Right.
Like, can you unintegrate Michael Jackson from the world? Good luck.
Right.
That's like musical cancer. That's like aggressive musical cancer.
Yeah.
You can't. Michael's a part of the world. You're not going to be able to zap that. And I think Kanye as well. People still privately listen to R. Kelly.
Right.
But when it comes to like a TV show, it's harder. You know what I mean? Like Cosby's unsyndicated.
Yeah.
Someone was saying, like, how pissed are you if you're like Felicia Rashad, or, I mean, she's still going to bat. But like, if you are, you're getting residuals, you're like one of Theo's friends or something, and fucking paying for your house.
You think they're playing it in other countries?
Like France doesn't care. They're like, we love, cause cover your drinks. Like, that's there. They just so don't care in France.
And where are you going to be? Oh, so you're going to Bakersfield? Tell everybody, Fahim, tell everybody your big show coming up.
So I got a hot show in Bakersfield. And this is kind of like why.
When is it?
I hit you up and I was like, can I plug this? Like, this is like, I'm doing a tour and everything, but like, this is where all the agents go to.
Yeah.
Because we're in Hollywood.
Yep.
But they don't like seeing shows in Hollywood.
Oh, they don't?
No. Okay. They want to go to where the real people are.
Okay.
So a lot of people will get on their jets and
so
their
the big time agents, the big comedy agents, the ones who rep Will Ferrell and the ones who rep Kevin Hart.
Where did they see them?
I don't. Where?
What town were they discovered?
Bakersfield? Really?
So this is kind of what this is.
This is wild.
Yeah.
So they're
all the hottest talent.
So it's sort of like a Sundance.
It's kind of like that'd be really funny. The most uphill battle to try to turn Bakersfield into Sundance.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to shut up Bakersfield. I'm sure it's a great city, but Sundance is snow.
Yes,
right?
Yes, very easy. Park City.
Yeah.
All of Brillstein Gray.
They head out there
at the Motel 6. Bakersfield.
Sure. It's supposed to be a good show. I mean, that's just one. I'm doing the DC Improv at the end of the month too. But I'm just, I'll pop out twice a month. So Bakersfield is January 12th at Tembler Brewing Company.
What do you make a weekend?
Whoa. That's like asking a woman her weight, dude.
When I started doing YouTube, whatever, and I stopped doing, trying to be an actor or whatever, I was maybe it's just my friend group, but they all would say, well, how much are you making? Mm-hmm. And I'd be like, what? I don't fucking say that. And then we just started telling everybody. And now I tell everybody what I make.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I'll tell you.
That does really well on TikTok.
What do you make?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they just go, hey, it'll be some guy leaving, like taking a shit, just coming out of the bathroom. Hey, what do you make? And also number 1 or number 2. I took a dump, and I'm in finance. And that seems to be a big thing.
What's the guy's name? Daniel. Who does What Do You Do For? I met him. I met him at Tim Dillon's house. He was at that guy was at Tim Dillon's house. Did you meet him?
Maybe I met him. I didn't know.
You must have met him.
Huh.
He's super nice. Daniel.
Okay.
Daniel Mack.
That's interesting, though. Like, who owns the rights to, can anybody just go, what do you do?
Yeah. But you can't make the videos like him.
I see.
I guess he makes, I've watched his
very
videos.
Particular.
Videos are good.
It is interesting. Just like, oh, that's what you do.
I mean, it's a great premise.
Sure. And simple.
Lamborghini.
Right.
And an old guy. How the fuck?
They'd be like, what do you do? He's like, well, I do data entry, but I rented this for the weekend. I'm trying to impress a girl. Here she is.
The best one I saw was my friend had this really pretty girl come up, our friend Corinna, and she's really big on OnlyFans. And he said, what do you do for a living? She says, I show my asshole.
That's just like that's the elevator pitch of what you do.
Yeah.
I think like early on, it was a lot of 2,000, 2,500 for the weekend,
Okay.
Which like is not that appealing now. It sounds like a lot of money, but look, I'm trying to think, airfare sometimes inflates and stuff.
Yeah.
You got to get meals and
$2,500 for the weekend.
For the weekend.
What?
That's back in the day. Not now though.
Oh.
Yeah. Now there'll be a guarantee, and then it'll be like a versus the door. So if it hits a certain amount, then it reverts to like 70% of the door ticket sales. Yeah.
Okay, you get 70% of the ticket sales,
and that turns out to be higher.
I think I know what it is. 300 seats.
Yeah.
2 shows.
No, one. I think one.
1 show.
Yeah.
35 a ticket.
Something like that.
Meet and greet.
I'm not bougie like that. There's no special. I'll say what's up.
Do stand-ups look down on meet and greets?
No, but some get so big that they include it as like an elevated package. Like,
right.
If you want to say hello, it'll cost you. If you want to reinforce how great I already think I am, that'll cost you $200. I just come out after, I'm like, hey, what's up? Hey, thanks for coming.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've done meet and greets. Yeah.
You price it?
Yeah. It's,
well, the thing is, you're there. I'm not there yet.
Do you know what's funny about it?
That'd be great if you come out with like oven mitts and you have a face shield. You're like, I'm here to greet my public. You have like a halo of 6 feet. You go, You can tell me how great I am from 6 feet. You go, when I spray, tell me how good I am.
Well, maybe this is the problem. Maybe we have to start thinking of you as more important than you think of yourself.
Whoa. I mean, there's a kernel of truth to this. I think we had a real breakthrough.
Because I'll tell you, people obviously aren't paying to see my stand-up. But when I would sell the tickets, I would play a 300-seat room. And I was trying to buy a house. So I was like, they're like, will you do 200 meet and greets? And I was like, sure. I was like, I for sure. I don't care. I'll do 600. I'm like trying to put my kid in private school and all that shit. And
I just picture your hand just being bloody by the end. You're like, how are you? I've met so many people. Oh, the doctor's looking at your x-rays and go, if you meet one more person, you may never be able to shake hands again.
I felt like that. I did. I felt like that at the end of it. It was brutal. And I love meeting people. I actually love meeting people. Like if I see people at the Grove or someone will say, "Oh, like I'm so sorry to bother you." I go, "No, I love it."
Me too.
I go, "I love it." I go, "Please always say hi." But yeah, 200 people is a lot of people to me. But then when I would sell the tickets, the meet and greets sold before the regular seats.
Oh, okay.
So I'd have seats left.
Interesting.
But no meet and greets. So I think that's what you're doing wrong.
Oh.
But I could be. You do you. Whatever.
Just do all meet and greets.
No stand up.
just 3 hours of just like touching hands and shit. They go, do you need a microphone? I'm like, no, not really. I'm just gonna... It goes to the crowd. It's just all the best parts of being Tony Robbins. People are just touching me.
Dude, you're body surfing like across the crowd. It's a 2 hour
Everyone's
body
like, who is this guy? Like, that's just what he does. People just like touching him and saying hello, and I just skipped everything. We're wasting time on the art part of it. I'm going straight to meet and greet.
Yeah.
This guy's the best meet and greeter. He's so good. No one meets and greets like him. He makes you feel like you're the only person in the world.
Yeah. And I would try to do that too. I would be like, okay, they have a minute.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, and I would it. Not that they have a minute. Some people stay longer. I don't time it, but that sounds terrible. Okay, 1 minute, go. They have a guy over there with a clicker.
Keep moving.
Yeah. No, but I would about a minute, because you feel bad. You're like, okay, you paid $100.
Yes.
You're like, I gotta make this really good. So I'm like, what's your name? Who are you? Blah, 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 blah. And then like.
Nail the picture.
What?
Do you do picture too? Or just straight?
Yeah, okay, picture. Okay. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, it's an interesting thing. Jess, you got any questions for Fahim?
Yeah, it's gonna crush me if you have no questions. You need at least one. No, just like a pretty girl on an ottoman, and then and then having no questions.
How pretty do you think I am?
I like this. She's ready for meet and greets.
What was your worst show you've ever done?
The Apollo Theater, 4,000 people.
Yeah, what was your most embarrassing moment on stage?
Maybe that. Just all of them are that show, pretty much. I mean, I had my fly down one time. I was in the OR. This actually happened twice. But one of them wasn't visible. But one of them, I'm in the OR, and I'm actually doing really well. I'm crushing. It's a great set. And then one of the comics is like, "Oh, hey, your fly was down the whole time." Like, that's not why they were laughing. I like that they were laughing despite the whole room knowing my fly's down. But I was still able to, like, the jokes were still enough. I just had my fly out down the whole time. I was like, oh, okay, what are you going to do about it?
Do you want to play games or no?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. Favorite actor? This is rapid fire questions.
Oh, fuck.
Favorite actor, go. Got to answer quick, man.
God damn it. Tom Cruise?
Really?
I don't know. You said quick. You said quick. Yeah,
I like Tom Cruise. I met Tom Cruise once.
Really?
Yeah, I went to the Top Gun premiere, and he was coming down, and they were like, "Jason, say something," and I was like, "Fuck, what do I say?" He's actually. This is what I've noticed now that these actors do. They pay attention to social media,
dude.
It's crazy. They go. Tom's gonna come down. It's a pin of YouTubers.
Yeah.
And we're all friends. We're having the best time. We're going to Top Gun premiere. Obviously, it's fun. And so they go, Tom's going to come down and talk to you guys. We go, what? We're the scumbag YouTubers. Like, why? Why would he? The Instagrammers. Like, literally, there's a girl, like, doing a TikTok. Like, and he comes down and they go, well, think of something to say. And I couldn't think of anything to say. So I go, Tom, I do my own stunts on YouTube sometime. You do your own stunts. What's it like? Like that.
That's not bad.
And he went, well, he goes, I got to tell you, I don't know what he said. I don't remember. I think he said something like, I enjoy it very much. But it was an opening.
Yeah.
And then that was it.
There's worse. That's not a bad opening.
It wasn't bad.
I do like how every couple months there's a video of him doing some insane thing with some microphone that has to be implanted into his esophagus because there's too much wind. He's like, well, but, it's crazy.
It's what they've got him doing.
Yeah. It'll be. I want to do a sketch where it's like Tom Cruise promoting his next movie, and it's in the mouth of a volcano. He's like, "Come check out Mission Impossible," and there's like magma. Yeah. We're gonna kill the poor guy.
I know.
If we keep buying tickets to these movies, blood is on our hands. We're like sending our grandpa out to stand on a plane.
Yeah, and his hair looks great. He's got to be in his 60s, maybe 60, and he's just.
He's great.
He's the man. And you when you talk to him, you're like,
I know why you're like who you are.
Yes.
I've heard he makes you feel like the most important person in the room.
Yes.
Connects.
Yeah.
He's not dating anyone else. It's just me and him.
But that might be because he's such a big star too. Like, I don't know. But yeah, it was something else. But yeah, we went to this Babylon premiere. And I was sitting there, and Brad Pitt just walks over to us. It's like really weird. Like I think he
seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, he's super cool. But I think maybe they're like, oh, this is part of it now. Like I got to talk to E.T.
Yeah,
I got to talk to Extra.
You are more important than E.T. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass.
Oh, that's nice. Maybe.
Well, I think you should know that. Just the fact that it'd be like, look, you're bigger than Entertainment Tonight. I don't think you'd realize. Like how big you are at this point. But I saw the power dynamic shift in this town when I think it was like Dane was doing a Vine with like a big Viner. Yeah. I think it was promoting a movie. It was like someone promoting their movie, but doing like an Instagram or Vine.
Yeah.
And I go, the fact that this big movie star sees the value is doing like 7-second videos or whatever. They realized that the power dynamic has shifted. Yeah. I had him on the podcast. I loved talking to him. Oh my God.
I had never met him before. And you want to talk about like inspiring, like he's been there. He's been to the top.
I think I listened to some of that. I was just fascinated. And I do like hearing.
He was good.
Cause like who has been through that journey? You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's why I like Fly on the Wall with Spade. And because it was, everything's recorded now, you know? There's documentation of everything. Yeah. Whereas in that era, it's all what is it? Spoken history, you know? Like an oral history.
Yeah.
So I'll tune in because what was that like going through that?
Yeah. Like I remember it, but I didn't really know what really happened, and then all the hate he got,
Mm-hmm.
and then the story about his
Stealing the money and shit.
the money,
And then his parents passing. Just
and
like how,
his mom dying. Just that was not a good moment for Jess.
Oh, really?
He was telling the story about his mom dying.
Oh, hold on. Was it the typing? I love that moment.
So
That was so funny.
that was Jess's not that was one bad moment for Jess. Yeah,
Well, it made for podcast magic. I gotta
yeah.
say.
He made it really funny. I mean, of course, he overreacted to make it funnier than it actually was. Okay, here we go. Worst part of nightclubs.
Okay. If you want to sit, it's going to cost you $50,000.
Right.
That is just you. Okay, it's so hard to get in there. You're in line forever.
Yeah.
You pay a cover. You buy these drinks that are overpriced, and the whole time they're like, "Keep it moving, keep it moving." Like I'm hemorrhaging money, so I'm just like a salmon just swimming around the nightclub.
Worst.
And then there could be an open couch. They're like, "No, you can't." Well, can I sit here until people go? No, because then everybody else will want to sit.
Right.
There's just all this pristine furniture, but like you have to be a Saudi prince to sit at a club.
Funniest part of the Taliban.
Oh yeah, just that they're loyal to Toyota. You know, like it's like a red Toyota pickup truck. I was always thinking they should do a commercial like we're voted #1 amongst the Taliban for
really
the
funny, Fahim.
18th year in a row. Toyota, if it's good enough for the Taliban, like you're just dropping your kids off at school.
That's really good. Who's the best looking person you know?
Fuck, who's the best besides you?
Yes. Thank you.
I gotta be quick or
No,
okay.
you take your time on this
the
one.
best
This
looking
one I want you to
person.
get right.
I know.
You got to know them, not somebody from the TV.
Matt Rife, maybe?
Matt Rife's a good looking kid. Yeah.
I'm trying.
What inspired you to become a comedian?
SNL.
Really?
Yeah. I researched how people got on the show, and it was through improv or stand-up.
Who do you look up to career wise?
Bill Burr,
Yeah.
Zach Galifianakis,
Zach.
and maybe like Larry David
Zach
or Ricky Gervais.
Larry David.
So I'll tell you why. Bill Burr, I just love that stand-up gave him everything,
Yeah.
and everything is an offshoot of that. So he gets to do Mandalorian.
Yep.
He just sort of parachutes into dope shit, but he's not tied to stuff for a super long time.
Uh-huh.
He does his thing, and he just branches off and does what he wants.
Yeah.
And then Galifianakis, because he used Hollywood, he didn't get used by Hollywood.
Uh-huh.
There's this danger of you're kind of playing with fire in this industry where if you're not careful, you will give your everything to this town, and what will you have in return? I think he was very thoughtful to use the business, but then also retreat a bit and to not just do everything and be like petroleum.
He got really lucky with Hangover, where remember what a big hit it was?
Yes, huge.
It was huge, huge, huge. The biggest comedy of all time. And then I think that afforded him. But you know what? He was always a really thoughtful. He's a thoughtful guy.
Yeah.
He really is, and he's a lot smarter than most people, and super funny.
Yes, I'm a big fan. I love his humor, and he could be doing a ton of stuff, but he chooses not to. And I like picking your battles and stuff, and you don't have to do everything.
Yeah, he did one of the funniest jokes once. This is kind of convoluted, but there was a guy that we knew that we did open mic with, and he weighed like 500 pounds, and he also fixed computers. So he was driving along one day, and this actually happened on my street. He was fixing my neighbor's computer, and he turned around in the driveway of a guy who was on meth. One of my neighbors was on meth, and the guy got really mad, sprayed him with a hose, whatever. And the guy who was on meth bit his face, bit the 500-pound guy's face. So anyways, Monday we go back to M Bar. We do a show Monday night at M Bar or whatever, and you know, Andrew, the guy, the 500-pound guy, gets up and does a set, and he talks about how he got face bit, whatever, and blah, 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 blah. And so then Zach goes up, and Zach's opening line is, well, Andrew, Now you know how those cheeseburgers feel. It was the most like out of the box thing. I was just like, it was fucking destroyed. I still think about it.
Just like so deadpan.
So
as well.
deadpan. And Zach was the funniest.
And it's like so off color and off putting, but it's so funny.
So funny.
You
and-
have to give it up.
Yeah, like cheese. No one was talking. No one was talking about cheeseburgers. Andrew wasn't talking about cheeseburgers. No one. Zach was the first person to say the word cheeseburgers. It's just like, now you know how those cheeseburgers feel.
What I love about it too, it's so nuanced and layered.
Yeah.
Is because like so much of comedy is information.
Right.
Is packing as much information in as few words as possible.
Uh-huh.
And just the fact that he says cheeseburgers,
Yeah.
it is the perfect fat person food. It conveys so much, like, you know what I mean? If he said steak, or it wouldn't be as funny as cheeseburger.
No.
There's something guilty pleasure about cheese.
Yeah, something.
Cheeseburgers, plural.
Yeah.
Like he has a bag of them.
And then you actually think about being the cheeseburger, and you're like, yeah, that would suck.
Yeah, cheeseburgers have feelings.
Yeah. Okay. Most money been paid for a stand-up gig?
A lot. Okay, I'm particular about giving hard numbers, but one time I did this show in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia.
What?
Yeah.
You went to Saudi Arabia for a show?
Yeah.
No fucking
It was
way.
like the Fire Fest for stand-up comedy. It was okay. So it's through the Laugh Factory. They were gonna send some comedians over, and then so it was gonna be like half before you get on the plane, and then half when you land.
Okay.
That's what it was supposed to be.
paid?
Yeah, so half was supposed to be in my bank account before I like get on the plane. But like business in the Middle East and stuff, like it's not like here where you dot your I's and everything is pretty squared away here.
Yeah.
There's just kind of
Right.
they make so much money that like
Yeah.
they don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So half wasn't in the bank account, but the business class flight to there was the ticket was there. And I didn't have a lot going on, and part of me was thinking, okay, the money's not there. If I don't get on the plane, I'm for 100% not getting the money. If I do get on the plane, there's a chance. It was just such a large sum that I'm like, I have to try at least. Yeah. So I get on the plane, business Turkish Airlines, I think, all the way. So stop in Turkey, then get there, do the show. And it was so weird. Like, it was a nice tent and everything, but they didn't promote it really well, so hardly anybody showed up. It was like 10 people. Finesse Mitchell did it. Maz did it. I'm trying
Maz
to
Jobrani.
Yeah, they got real comics, you know? Every weekend, it was kind of a different crew of comics going out there.
Yeah.
And then some people got their money, some didn't.
Oh.
And we didn't get our money for months. Just almost like a year. It was crazy. And we kept on getting some excuse, and we don't know if we were trying to get, they're like stiffing us, or they just make so much money. It's like telling Jeff Bezos to get stamps.
Right.
It's like, I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So finally we did get our money, but I didn't think we were going to get it.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
All right. Listen, this was really good. Thank you so much
Thanks
for
having
coming,
me, dude.
Go check out Fahim Anwar. Go check out his special Hat Trick. It's on his page on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm going to link it right below. Go watch it. It's hilarious. It's full of, he's such a great writer. So many great jokes, great performer too. And go see him at the Comedy Store if you're in LA. Go see him in Bakersfield. Go see him in Irvine. Go see him in Phoenix. Anything
Thanks
else?
for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Dude, you're the best. All right. I'll see you next time.
Yeah, man.